Hey, this is a video for 3.6, Age Structure Diagrams. So go ahead and check out the overview and set up your guided notes. So one type of age structure diagram, an age structure diagram really just shows you the makeup of a population by age. One specific type is a population pyramid, and that is the type that is shown predominantly in this class. So a population pyramid is just a graphical illustration of populations by age and sex. And we are using the biological definition of the word sex, so it is referring to those assigned male and assigned female at birth. Now these are split up into cohorts, and cohorts are just any group within a population, and these cohorts are separated by age. We have the pre-reproductive cohort, or individuals that have not yet entered puberty. We have the reproductive cohort, those that are able to have offspring up until menopause for the females. And then we have post-reproductive. So this is from 45 years and onward. Now in a population, what we will see is we will see this with all the males on the left side and all the females on the right side. And there's going to be, it's literally going to be a basic triangle shape with numbers like total populations or percentages on the bottom. So I'm going to show you a few examples of population pyramids and then discuss them. This is a population pyramid for a country that is experiencing rapid growth. The reason that it is experiencing rapid growth is because the pre-reproductive cohort is the largest cohort. When this pre-reproductive cohort becomes reproductive, it will actually keep expanding and the base of this pyramid will get larger. So once a population is growing rapidly, it takes a few generations for that population to slow down. And we'll be discussing more of the reasons behind this in future lessons. So a population that is experiencing slow growth, it still has a wider base, which means the pre-reproductive cohort is still wider than the reproductive cohort. So when the pre-reproductive ages into the reproductive cohort, they will still be having offspring. So this will still be slightly wider than the cohort above it. Now again, this may be a population that is slowing down. It may have started out rapidly and now it is starting to slow down. And this is something you will see as populations or as countries get older and more developed. A country is experiencing zero growth, or a population pyramid representing zero growth is shown right here because this is basically, these are almost parallel lines. So if you notice, the pre-reproductive cohort is roughly the same size as the reproductive cohort. So again, this one still looks like an arrow, the slow growth. The zero growth, it doesn't really matter what's happening up here. What really matters is the pre-reproductive compared to the reproductive cohort. So since these are roughly the same size, this population is experiencing zero growth. And the fourth type of pyramid you'll see is one experiencing negative growth. And this is quite easy to pick out because the pre-reproductive cohort is much smaller than the reproductive cohort. So this trend will continue on, and this population is expected to continue to get smaller. Now, why is this? Well, it's related to something called population momentum. Basically, that means when a population is growing, it's going to continue to grow, and it's going to take a little bit of time for that population growth to slow down. So here's something, if you look, this could represent different generations. And each generation basically doubled in size. So we have the first generation, second generation, third generation. Now, if we were to keep this going, now notice the next generation doubled in size and doubling in size again. Look at how large that population grew just over a couple of generations. And this is literally when the population is doubling every generation. So this is showing very, very, very rapid growth. Now, even if these individuals now would have only one baby, then the next generation would still be a large population. But if it's still going to take a few generations in order for them to go from doubling to just having one child each. My grandmother was one of 14 children, and then my dad had five boys in his family, and that is a generation difference, but that still is a lot. And then my parents, I have three siblings, or there's three of us in my family. So every generation it's getting a little bit smaller, but it's not going to happen in just one generation. So let's look at a math problem related to population pyramids. So I want to show you right now that on the bottom here, these are percentages. This is the percent of the population. And again, these are all the males, these are all the females, and you can see the cohorts separated by the different shades of blue and red. Now the question reads, if the total population is 50 million, what is the population of pre-reproductive males? So what we want to do is look at the proportion that we're going to be setting up. We have the percent over 100 equals part over whole. So theoretically, whenever you're looking at one of these, if it's in percentages, if we add up all of these little numbers, you will get 100%. So looking at this question, we want to figure out what percent of it is pre-reproductive, and that is this group right here. So we have three different groups in there. We have 8 plus 7 plus 6.5. So what percent is that? That is 21.5%. So 1/4 of this population is pre-reproductive males. Roughly, we're 1/5 of the population. Now we want to figure out the other part. So our part and our whole. Our part is actually unknown, and the whole is the total population. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply, and we're going to solve for x. So if you don't know how to cross multiply, whenever you see this, the way I learned it, you guys learned it, I think 100x equals 21.5 times 50 million. I literally take this number times this number divided by this number, 10.75 million. What I would like you to do is respond to this check for understanding. And for the FRQ practice, I want you to justify the growth seen in the population with the pyramid shown. I hope that this video is informative. I thank you for your attention, and I will see you soon.